Right, good morning everyone. If you take your seats please, it is 10:30. For the purposes of the internet and others, this is Lincolnshire County Council Planning Regulation Committee, 6th of June 2022, would you believe, 10:30 in the morning. I am Councillor Ian Fleetwood. I'm going to chair the meeting this morning as usual. Officers present at the meeting, I've got Robert Close, who's Democratic Services Officer, Jan Gibson, who's Programme Leader, Minor Works and Traffic, Martha Rees from Legal, Neil McBride, Head of Planning. Nobody going to dial in via Teams, so it's going to be a straightforward meeting, I hope. No supplementary papers have been circulated since Friday, but can I remind the committee at the Riser meeting, we're going to receive a presentation from Island Green Power for a West Burton and Cottam solar development. I'm intending to hold that session, that presentation, from 11 o'clock, subject to us being finished with this meeting, of course. I don't want to close debate off unless it's necessary. And similarly, I'll remind members to use the microphone button when they speak. Item one is, well, before I move on to item one, we've had the fire alarm this morning, so if you do hear the fire alarm go, please exit the building to the front of the building, into the car park where we'll do a head count. Not expecting any issues. The fire alarm has already been tested today, so no problems there. Otherwise, you know where the coffee, the water is, so problem solved there. Item one is apologies and a list of apologies. Apologies for absence.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've received apologies from Councillor Ian Carrington.
Thank you very much. There is no substitute for Councillor Carrington. Okay. Item two is the minutes of previous meeting. The previous meeting was held on the 9th of May 2022. I'm quite happy to propose them. These have been circulated, seconded by...
Quite happy to second.
Councillor Skinner. Thank you very much. I don't see anybody dissenting from those minutes, so I will take it that that is a unanimous vote for them. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, hold on. Vice Chairman.
Sorry, may I abstain from those minutes as I was not present at the last meeting? Thank you.
Well spotted, thank you very much. Move on then to traffic items, and we could do if you wish. Would anybody like to declare any interests in any items on the agenda? There you go, there are none. Keeps life simple, doesn't it? I own property in Metheringham, but nowhere near the application site, so I don't think I need to declare that. It is listed in my declarations of interest. Item 4.1 then, and traffic items, Saltfleet B Main Road, proposed 40 mile an hour speed limit. I'm going to call on Jan Gibson now to introduce the report, and we will see where we go with it. The floor is yours when you are ready, Jan.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Jan Gibson, Programme Leader for Minor Works and Traffic. First report today is quite unusual in that we're proposing to increase the speed limit. Next slide, please. This is in Saltfleet B, which is situated just to the east of Louth on the B1200. The Parish Council requested that we review the existing 30 mile an hour limit as shown in red at Appendix A. Previously there had been a school on this stretch, and as members will be aware, the policy states that all statutory age schools in the county will have a 30 mile an hour limit installed outside them. This school has since closed, and therefore we've reviewed the speed limit. Next slide please, Rob. And proposed that the length of existing 30 mile an hour limit shown red is raised to 40 mile an hour limit, the prevailing limit either side, in accordance with the policy based on the mean speeds that range between 38 and 41 miles per hour. We've received objections to this proposal on the basis that it will increase traffic speeds and potentially increase accidents. An online petition has also been submitted. For reasons outlined in the report, the policy criteria are met for a 40 mile an hour limit at this location, and we therefore recommend that the order as advertised is introduced. Thank you.
Thank you. This one's slightly unusual in that normally we're going the other way around. We are trying to reduce the speed limit, but this time it is an increase. Obviously, Jan's highlighted the fact that the school is now not in use at this location, so certainly a little bit of the stopping and starting from the vicinity will be different to where it's been in the past. I've travelled this straight road, I think is probably a good way to put it, because it is quite a long straight road, many times for various reasons over time. I'm quite happy with the proposal, so I'm going to propose it. Would anybody like to speak? Councillor Ashton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very happy to support and very happy to second this. There are long straight roads in my own division that have speed limits such as this, where there's a school. If there wasn't a school, then there clearly wouldn't be a speed limit of 30. And given the existing speeds of vehicles on there, it feels an appropriate speed at 40 rather than 30. So happy to second, Mr. Chairman.
Councillor Pepper, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. As both you and Jan said, it is a bit of an unusual one for us, and I can't remember sitting here before over the years debating increasing the speed, so new one for me. But yeah, there's justifiable reasons for doing so. I can see why the public are perhaps up in arms about it, but say justifiable. I also note that the local member supports it, and he must know better than us, the area better than all of us, so I'm happy to go along with it, Chairman.
Thank you. I see no further speakers. All in favour of the proposal, please show now. That is unanimous. Okay, I will say anybody against, any abstentions, not expecting to see any movement, and I don't. So therefore that's carried and will go into place. Item 4.2 then is proposed 30-mile-an-hour speed limits at Spilsby Road, Boston Road and Langton Hill in Horncastle. Jan, again, the floor is yours.
Thank you. This relates to a number of speed limit reviews that we carried out on all the main routes into Horncastle. At Lincoln Road, the mean speeds indicated that we could reduce to 30 without recourse to this committee. Although on Louth Road, the mean speeds indicate that the existing 40 limit is set at the correct level. Next slide, please. However, in the case of Spilsby Road, Boston Road and Langton Hill, as shown at Appendix A, we've got mean speeds of 36 and 35, and in accordance with the policy, that means that we can regard these as borderline cases and request that this committee gives us permission to pursue 30-mile-an-hour limits. Next slide, please. The first location is on Spilsby Road. The proposal is to change this existing 40 to 30. Next slide, please. Similarly at Boston Road. Next slide, please. And at Langton Hill. So the following three slides indicate the extent of the 30-mile-an-hour limits that we would like to consult on. And the recommendation is that the committee approves this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Horncastle to me, oh wow, a few moons ago I used to go to school at the bottom of Langton Hill, and I will say a few moons ago, so I do know the area quite well, so I know very much the area. I have seen various issues within the town over many moons, and I support the report as it stands. Certainly there has been an extension to residential build in some areas. Typically we can see in front of us Langton Hill, and you can see there a lot of new build on that location. Certainly along the Boston Road there's a fair amount too, and I think that building would probably have obviously added to the traffic flows, but also give another requirement that we do actually respect those people in those areas. So I'm going to move the recommendation. Councillor Skinner, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Quite happy to second it. I think it's really sensible to extend those. The traffic's probably only doing 30 on busy days through that anyway. So I think it's a real good move. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak to the application? Seeing none, I'll therefore put it to the vote. All in favour, please show now. Thank you. That is unanimous, but I will say anybody against, any abstentions? Seeing no movement, that is therefore also carried. Finally takes us to 4.3 High Street, Metheringham, proposed bus stop Clearways. Again, Jan, if you can introduce, please.
Thank you. This is Metheringham. Next slide, please, Rob. It's located just to the southeast of Lincoln. Next slide, please. Currently, the two bus stops on High Street are located outside the local pub near Drury Street. The one on the north side, we're proposing a bus stop Clearway to protect it from parking, which has been identified as obstructing access to the bus stop. The existing bus stop here on the south side is opposite. But next slide, please, Rob. The photo on the left indicates how narrow the footway is here. So we're proposing to relocate this bus stop following discussions with Transport Services Group further westwards to the area shown on the photograph on the right, where we have sufficient space to install a post to carry the bus stop flag and bus stop timetable, passengers to wait, and there'll be no obstruction to general pedestrian flow. If you can return to the former slide, please, Rob. Thank you. We've had objections from a resident in proximity of the proposed new bus stop, concerned that the bus will obstruct access to properties and will compromise safety as it's located near to a bend on the road. However, we believe that the bus only stops briefly, so will not compromise access to premises. And again, as it only stops briefly, any issues with oncoming traffic can be resolved. It's therefore recommended that the objections are overruled so that we can pursue this, the installation of this new bus stop and the Clearway. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Jan. Having said that, and I think I know Metheringham reasonably well, fairly well, I'll just make one comment. You said with regard to the pub, there is more than one pub in Metheringham, so I think that's probably worth saying. Otherwise, quite happy to support the recommendation and propose it. Councillor Mrs Austin.
May I just have a little clarification? Often bus stops have one on one side of the road for traffic going one way and one on the other side. Now, are these in fact essentially, you know, that situation, or is it that there isn't also one opposite each of those?
So are the bus stops staggered at intervals along the roadside?
No, there's just a single bus stop on each side at the two locations shown. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Councillor Skinner, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Quite happy to second that, and I bow to your knowledge, extensive knowledge of Metheringham pubs. Thank you.
I will point out my knowledge of pubs came after I left school, so we'll go from there. Okay, anybody else wishing to comment? Okay, proposed by myself, seconded by Councillor Skinner. The report as printed is adopted. All in favour, please show. Thank you. That's everybody for, but I will say anybody against or any abstentions. Seeing none, therefore the report as printed is carried. Technically that would be the closure of the meeting, but I am just going to just halt it, and I want to just allow Mr McBride, Head of Planning, a couple of seconds to talk about potential visits.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Councillor.